Phenol. Fear has no place in a lab. Today, I would like to isolate RNA. Isolating RNA involves working with a very toxic chemical, and that's phenol.
The principle of nucleic acid isolation by phenol is a separation of the nucleic acids RNA and DNA into the upper waterous aqueous phase and the proteins, lipids and everything we want to get rid of into the organic lower phase, followed by an alcohol precipitation step. The power of sour phenol extraction is that also DNA is separated from RNA, so we expect a much purer RNA and less DNA contamination.
When I first started working in the lab and came in contact with toxic chemicals, I was a little bit afraid to do something wrong and to harm myself or somebody. But very soon I noticed that there is no real danger if you work with the knowledge of how to handle this substance and how to protect yourself. In the video you see that I wear these red gloves. These are special gloves that are thicker, and the phenol needs more time to penetrate these gloves, so if you spill something then it doesn't go through as fast. So that's the personal protective equipment. We work under the fume hood that protects the lab and us from inhaling the fumes. We have special little equipment under the hood that is only used for phenol, so we don't have to wash it or we don't have to get in touch with it in any other place of the lab. And in case there is an accident, it's always required that you know about your toxic chemical. So I went to the data sheet, I checked what is written in there, and I confirmed that my knowledge is still up to date and correct. And that is, obviously, phenol is very toxic to the skin, to the eyes, inhaling, ingesting, the whole catalog of what you could do is, well, it's very toxic. The problem is that it gets absorbed easily by the skin, and then it gives phenol burns. So what happens in case of an accident? For all toxic chemicals, you are required to know before you touch the chemical, to know exactly what to do in case of an accident. So what's the requirement? What do you need to have at hand? And in case of phenol, it is really simple. If you came in touch with anything, you trash the contaminated glove. If there is some spill on the floor, you soak it up with tissues. And if you have it on the skin or if you had contact clothing, you have to remove immediately. And if there is some contact on the skin, there is a kit that we have, and that's polyethylene glycol solution. That's a solution that's very good at absorbing and dissolving phenol. So if we have an accident, then we would need to get rid of what's on there with tissues, but then also soak it with this polyethylene glycol solution to get as much off as possible, and then flush, rinse with water, a lot of water. And obviously you have to see a doctor then. Why am I saying this? It sounds all very dangerous. There is always a risk connected to working with toxic chemicals. Nevertheless, it's important to stay calm, and fear has no place in a lab. Fear is always the enemy. Knowledge and calm, that's what protects us in the lab. That's how I see it. Now I'm really hungry and I'm heading home to have a well-earned dinner. See you in the next. Bye.